Hello and welcome to episode 111 of Things I've Learned from Barry Harris. And today I thought I would kind of steal an idea from Thomas over at Labyrinth of Limitations YouTube channel. He did a beautiful video about taking 6 diminished with one borrowed note. Like Barry has this exercise sometimes where here's C6 and you borrow the one note, but you continue borrowing that same note the whole way through. And then you get these beautiful chords. And then Thomas added to it by saying he's going to take the borrowed note and then do some like contrary motion things with it. Which is really fantastic. And if you haven't, I'll leave a link in the description for that. But it got me thinking, and Thomas and I talk about this a lot, which is within the drop 2, which is what the majority of our chords are as guitar players, which they shouldn't be, but they are. There's a lot of information in this drop 2, and we're going to use C minor 6 diminished for example. And the C minor 6 diminished scale is another Barry beautiful 8-note scale, which has 4 notes of C minor 6, which is C, E flat, G, A. And then it has the 4 notes of D diminished, D, F, A flat, B. And you put those 4 notes with the D diminished 4 notes, bam! You have this beautiful C minor 6 diminished, where every other chord is either going to be a minor 6th or every other chord is going to be a diminished. So the first one would be C minor 6. So I'll just play it up what it looks like for drop 2. It's diminished, another minor 6, another diminished, minor 6, diminished, minor 6, diminished, minor 6. And we could just stay on this 4 middle string sets, but you definitely have to know them on any set of strings. You have to know them on all 4, including here. So really that's the proper way to practice them, is you should know them for every string set, starting with the 6th string root, starting with the 5th string root, and starting with the 4th string root. But I just wanted to take a look, and I think I've talked about this before, but within this drop 2, there's so much stuff in there. And what I mean by that is, in this drop 2, we have a lot of intervals that this chord is telling us we need to know. So for instance, this has, if you just take a look at the C and the A, that's a 6th. The G and the E flat, that's a 6th. So we have to know these. We have to know our C minor 6 in 6th. There's other intervals like this is a 5th. So we have to know our 5ths. So listen just to the 5ths. So like C and G, but also A and E flat are also 5ths. So now if we did them opposite, we could say sorry. How beautiful that is. Then that's telling you need to know those. And believe me, you'll use them. So I thought if we combine a couple of things, it's similar to Thomas's idea, but it might be a little bit easier to see, which is just thirds. So if we take a look at thirds, for instance, in this drop 2, the middle 2 notes, the notes on the D and the G string, even though it's a 2nd, it's actually a 3rd in this scale because you have the G, you're skipping the G sharp or the A flat, and you're going to the A. So that's a 3rd. So if we did thirds on this string, on these string set, the D and the G, we would have this. There it is. So I'll do it again. Really pretty. Super pretty stuff. So what I thought would be nice is if you combine a drop 2, then hit the D string of the drop 2, and then we'll do some thirds. So here's the concept. The second one, starting from the diminished. And I just did this with a friend of mine, Richard, and we were having fun with it, but it was just, we did major, but we'll do minor. to see it, and it's very musical. So all I did was I played the drop 2, I hit the note on the D string again, and then I did, instead of the third that's already there in the drop 2 on the D and G string, I went down to the third that's below it. So for instance, if I start on a minor 6, I'm going to go down to one of the notes that's the 2 notes that are part of the diminished. So that'll be diminished to 6, which means if I play a diminished, I'm going to say a note of this, 2 notes of the 6, and then 2 notes of the diminished. So the first one's going to be minor 6, diminished to 6, diminished, 6 to diminished, minor 6, diminished to 6, diminished, 6 to diminished. And if you're saying, well, wait, how do you see these? Well, if you know your drop 2s, the middle 2 notes are your thirds, always. So here's our first third. There's our second third for the D and the G string. There's our third again. And what's beautiful about all these scales, this one specifically, is every third is going to be a minor third. Well, at least all 4 of the diminishes are always going to be minor thirds, of course. But even the 6 ones, the first one here, starting from the 5th, is a second, or as Barry calls it sometimes, a diminished third. And then the one from here, another 6, is going to be a minor third. Here, a minor third, and here, a major third. So you only have one major third in the entire minor 6 diminished scale. So if I was playing it, there it is, starting from the third and the 5th. That's the minor third. All the rest of them are minor. It's really pretty. Beautiful. So this is just a nice way to play. And see, Barry would take something like this and have the piano players all practice it. Oh, sorry. But I'll tell you what, it's so pretty for guitar. We got to stop letting these piano players get so far ahead of us with this stuff. So we'll say, okay, well, where would we use it in a tune? So let's say we were doing something going to C minor, and we had D half diminished. Pretty, just something like that. Just something real easy. Or, so watch. Pretty. Or you don't even have to just do 2. Look, watch, I can do 3. That time I went diminished to 6 to diminished to 6. And now let's see what this one's going to sound like. Now this is going to be 6 diminished, 6 diminished. So let me not talk through it. It's beautiful stuff. Now let's suppose, because we know that C minor 6 is also A minor 7 flat 5. So A minor 7 flat 5 and C minor 6 are the same. So let's say we were going to G minor. So let's do a 1 6 2 5 in G minor. I just did that one. Now I'll do another one. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Oh, let's try again. So maybe we'll say, that's a nice one. Or maybe we'll do a real dominant. It's just another little wonderful thing that if you practice them and you start to really see them in these smaller little places, they're going to become way more accessible for you to use. That's what I say we should do. And it's a call out to all my guitar player brethren who are tired of all their piano player friends playing all these pretty, these really pretty things, and us not being able to keep up with them. Forget that. We're keeping up with them from now on. So just a small video today, and I'll leave a link in the description for that Thomas video, that Labyrinth of Limitations. Until next time, enjoy practicing your drop twos and everything that's included in them.